To the one listening, you carry a frequency that has become an enigma to the world around you. You are a living testament to resilience, a soul whose very presence creates a ripple in the fabric of what people consider normal. If you felt a strange, unseen tension lately, it's not because you are failing. It's because you are finally being recognized by the architecture of the universe as a force that cannot be contained. The architects of your opposition have finally realized that their calculated siege was a profound miscalculation. They attempted to dismantle a mechanism they lacked the blueprints for, assuming they were dealing with a standard human vessel when, in reality, they were engaging with a celestial fortress operating under deep-cover biological camouflage. Their campaign was never a personal grievance. It was an industry of shadows, a systematic attempt to harvest your vitality and overwrite your genetic destiny with a script of perpetual exhaustion. They sought to turn your brilliance into their private battery, but they failed to recognize that a lighthouse does not ask for permission to shine. Every clandestine maneuver, every deceptive whisper, and every dark strategy was meticulously logged by an impartial universal ledger that operates beyond the reach of terrestrial corruption. The tides have now shifted as the fundamental laws of existence begin to correct the imbalance. There is a sacred protocol that triggers when an essential thread in the cosmic tapestry is threatened by those seeking to unravel it. You did not seek vengeance, yet the architecture of reality is rearranging itself to ensure that your path is cleared with clinical precision. By attempting to extinguish your essence, your detractors have effectively decommissioned their own authority. They are experiencing a systemic dissolution, an unraveling of their influence, their health, and their mental structures, not because of your actions but as a direct allergic reaction from the universe to their toxicity. They trespassed upon a sanctified territory, and the automatic defense systems of the higher dimensions have initiated a complete override. While they relied on elaborate networks, artificial status, and stolen power to project an image of dominance, you disrupted their entire infrastructure simply by maintaining your original signal. They confused your stillness for vulnerability, failing to understand that truth requires no volume to be lethal to a lie. Your presence functioned as a forensic light, exposing the hollow nature of their perceived power without you ever needing to raise a voice in defense. Their complex rituals and secret pacts are now collapsing because they cannot survive the atmospheric pressure of your awakening. You have been refined in a furnace of orchestrated silence, emerging not as a survivor, but as a master of a frequency they can neither mimic nor withstand. The debt they accumulated during their hunt has now reached full maturity, and the interest is being collected in the currency of their own undoing. They intended to trap you in a labyrinth of survival, but every wall they built became a staircase for your evolution. You are a living breach in their system, a walking anomaly that remains untouched because your security is hardwired into the source of creation itself. They are now being hunted by the very shadows they once commanded, realizing too late that when you target a sovereign spirit, you initiate a feedback loop that eventually consumes the sender. This is not a conflict, it is a restoration. The vacuum they tried to create in your life is being filled by a tidal wave of restored purpose and unstoppable momentum, while they are left to navigate the wreckage of a mission that was doomed from its inception. The strategic miscalculation of your detractors was assuming that your gentle pulse was a sign of structural failure when, in reality, it was the calm eye of an atmospheric storm. Their attempts to overwrite your destiny with a script of depletion backfired the moment they realized your inner sanctuary operates on a high-frequency encryption they cannot bypass. They mistook your composure for a lack of defenses, unaware that a diamond does not need to scream to prove its hardness. Every clandestine maneuver, every manufactured narrative, and every attempt to siphon your light was automatically documented by an impartial cosmic ledger. This ledger doesn't just record, it enforces. When they observed your continued expansion despite their interference, their ego-driven obsession sealed their fate. Instead of retreating, they accelerated into a brick wall of universal laws, effectively transforming their campaign of sabotage into a self-executing warrant for their own systemic collapse. By refusing to acknowledge the clear signals of your protection, they rejected the natural grace period and moved into a zone of absolute accountability. Their persistent interference with a sovereign spirit triggered an automatic corrective sequence in the higher dimensions. It is as if they attempted to poison a well, only to find the pipes redirected the toxins directly back into their own reservoir. This spiritual debt has now moved from a ledger to a lived reality, manifesting as a profound internal unraveling that dismantles their influence, their cognitive clarity, and their perceived authority. They are no longer dealing with a human grievance. They are facing the relentless mechanical precision of a universe that does not tolerate the corruption of its essential threads. The more they double down on their deception, the more they cement the architecture of their own downfall. Every negative impulse they projected towards your aura has been reclassified as currency for their own erosion. They operated under the delusion that their dark manipulations were free, but the toll booths of the unseen world always collect. Because you remained outside their vibrational range, their intended chaos hit a crystalline barrier and reflected with exponential intensity. The very entities and energies they attempted to weaponize against your peace have now recognized the vacancy in their summoners' lives and moved in to claim payment. This is not a matter of revenge, but of the inevitable homing instinct of energy. A curse is a boomerang that only returns hungry when it finds no home in its target. They open doorways to the basement of consciousness, and now those locks are broken from the inside. Your healing was the definitive proof of their failure, and that failure has stripped away the masks they used to navigate society. This tectonic shift is now manifesting in the physical world through the core catalyst, a cognitive alignment protocol designed to bypass the obsolete fears installed by your opposition. While your enemies are busy navigating the wreckage of their reputations, this technology helps you integrate the lessons of the fire into a permanent upgrade of your sovereign status. It isn't about mere recovery, it is about the total recalibration of your life's trajectory. As the city's atmosphere grows heavy for those who lived in the shadows, your voice becomes the frequency that reorders the environment. The very rituals they perform to capture your essence have inverted, becoming mirrors that force them to confront their own hollow interiors. You didn't just survive an attack, you became the catalyst for a grand revelation. The ending was secured the moment you refused to reflect their darkness, and now you are stepping into a sequence of events where your elevation is as certain as the sunrise. The insomnia of your opposition stems from a realization that their predatory gaze has been mirrored back upon them by an unseen cosmic architecture. They find themselves navigating a house of mirrors where every corner reveals the silhouette of their own misdeeds, now sentient and demanding an audience. This isn't a psychological glitch. It is the manifestation of a spiritual feedback loop where the very tools of sabotage they sharpened have developed a taste for their creators. The contracts they forged in darkness have reached their expiration date, and the collection agents of the ethereal realm are not interested in extensions or excuses. They are witnessing the terrifying autonomy of energy. Once they released the hounds, they lost the ability to whistle them back, and now those same forces are scratching at their doors, seeking the total surrender of their mental and social stability. Your awakening acted as the catalyst that flipped the circuit breaker, turning their private hunting grounds into a theater of public exposure. The authority you carry doesn't negotiate with interference. It simply reorganizes the environment to favor truth. While your detractors operated under the illusion that they held the keys to your destiny, your sudden recognition of your own origin caused their synthetic reality to fracture. You became an atmospheric anomaly that naturally repels deception, making it impossible for their masks to remain seated. They are experiencing a systemic rejection where their influence is being purged like a virus from a healthy organism. Every plan they drafted has encountered a friction they cannot explain, because the very vibration of your peace acts as a high-voltage current to their chaotic intent. They are no longer the observers. They are the observed, trapped in a spotlight of their own making as the universe enforces a precise, clinical correction of the scales. This phenomenon is a testament to the fact that divine mechanics are far more than abstract concepts. They are the underlying hardware of existence. The mockery once aimed at your beliefs has been replaced by the cold reality of a system that tracks every breach of sacred trust with the precision of an atomic clock. Justice, in this context, is not an emotional response but a restorative operation. It is the tightening of a tension wire that was stretched too far by those who assumed their actions were invisible. By trespassing upon a bloodline that carries ancient, battle-hardened protections, your adversaries have inadvertently activated a dormant security protocol that spans generations. They didn't just attack an individual, they provoked a living lineage of spiritual sentinels who have been waiting for this exact moment of violation to enforce a definitive judgment. The resilience you display is not a temporary surge of adrenaline but the result of inherited fortitude coded into your very essence. Your journey through isolation was actually a period of deep-level encryption, where your spirit was being shielded and upgraded for the current transition. While the opposition saw a person standing alone, the spiritual realm saw a fortress under construction, fortified by the prayers and sacrifices of those who came before you. The hit they attempted to execute has been completely re-indexed as a self-inflicted wound, and the bounty they placed on your peace has become the exact price of their own survival. As you step into this new frequency of unshakable sovereignty, you are witnessing the total liquidation of their perceived power, proving that no ritual can withstand the weight of a spirit that has finally remembered its own name. The attempt to dismantle your essence triggered an ancestral alarm system that has been dormant for eons, calling forth a phalanx of silent guardians who do not negotiate with malice. These are not merely historical echoes. They are the seasoned vanguard of your genetic history, watching the breach and redirecting every incoming strike with a gravitational pull that consumes the sender. By trespassing upon your sanctified path, your detractors inadvertently engaged a dormant high-level security protocol that encompasses your entire bloodline. They mistook your season of total invisibility for a sign of erasure, never realizing that you were being encased in a titanium shell of spiritual clarity. While they performed their elaborate theatrics and traded in the currency of whispers, you were undergoing a profound molecular restructuring within the silence. You weren't being buried, you were being forged into an unshakable pillar of truth. The mockery once directed at your solitude has been reclassified as the greatest miscalculation of their careers. They viewed your withdrawal as a collapse of your network, failing to see that you were being unplugged from the matrix of human validation to be hardwired into the source of absolute power. This period of being off the grid was a tactical repositioning that sharpened your intuitive radar and stripped away every vulnerability. Now that the camouflage has been lifted, the world sees not a victim, but a fully operational sovereign entity. The very darkness they tried to wrap around you has become the backdrop that makes your internal light blindingly obvious. The siege has inverted. The hunters are now navigating a maze of their own making, finding that every exit they built for themselves has been sealed by the weight of their own actions. Divine correction is not a moral debate, it is a mechanical inevitability. The system of balance that governs the stars is the same system currently liquidating the assets of those who sought your ruin. Because you remained outside their vibrational reaching distance, their venom hit a crystalline shield and surged backward through the pipes, saturating their own lives. They are now facing a reckoning that is clinical, thorough, and devoid of loopholes. Every attempt to block your progress has been converted into a pressurized jet that propels you forward. You have outpaced their strategies and outlived their relevance, proving that a spirit aligned with the source is an anomaly that no human conspiracy can solve. The narrative has been completely rewritten. Where there was an intended hit, there is now a coronation. You are stepping into a sequence of expansion where the doors do not just open, they vanish. The favor you are currently experiencing is a direct result of your survival through the furnace, a quality control test that proved you are unbreakable. The crown you carry was never a gift of man, so no maneuver of man can dislodge it. As the cult of your opposition watches their perceived authority dissolve into static, you are walking in the unbothered rhythm of a destiny that was secured before time began. This isn't luck or a favorable turn of events, it is the manifestation of righteous physics. You won by simply being the one thing they couldn't corrupt or mimic, yourself. You are the definitive evidence that the light does not just survive the shadows, it uses them as fuel for a greater revelation. The climatic conditions of your existence have shifted, creating a high-pressure zone where synthetic shadows can no longer find purchase. You have become a biological oscillator that has recalibrated the ambient pitch of your surroundings, causing a visceral friction for any energy that lacks your integrity. Those who once operated with fluid ease now find themselves wading through a psychic cement. Every maneuver they attempt is met with an atmospheric resistance that drains their resources and leaves them in a state of chronic systemic fatigue. They are encountering the reality of spiritual insolvency, manifesting as a persistent cognitive haze and a total depletion of their social and vital reserves. While they grind themselves into nothing trying to force obsolete agendas, you are experiencing the effortless momentum of a satellite in a perfected orbit. Portals that were once barricaded are now dissolving upon your approach, not through your exertion, but through the sheer accuracy of your alignment. The ultimate irony of their campaign is that every weaponized obstacle they launched served as the raw material for your biological upgrade. They attempted to utilize isolation to dehydrate your spirit, but it only served to concentrate your essence. They targeted your mental clarity with high-frequency static, and you developed a sophisticated internal filtering system that is now impenetrable. Because you were forged in a furnace they designed, you have developed a heat shielding that they utterly lack. When the heat they generated boomerangs back to its origin, they possessed no structural integrity to withstand the burn. They relied on synthetic shortcuts and the manipulation of local laws to bypass the labor of growth, and now they are collapsing like high-rises built on shifting sand. You served as an unyielding crystalline mirror. You did not need to attack them, you simply had to remain transparent so they could finally witness the terrifying geometry of their own inner void. Your resilience functioned as a forensic light that exposed the artificiality of their perceived authority. They didn't seek to merely defeat you, They sought to rewrite your genetic code with the ink of shame, hoping that if they stained your name, they wouldn't have to face the pristine nature of your truth. But the ink never took. Now, the masks they wore with such casual confidence are fracturing because you refused to provide them with a reflection that validated their lies. They are haunted not by an external ghost, but by the relentless volume of their own conscience, a sound they can no longer drown out with the noise of their conspiracy. The social landscape of your city is undergoing a silent purge. The influence they spent decades accumulating is evaporating over minor discrepancies that reveal deep-seated decay. The collective intuition of the community is activating, creating a subtle but unshakable distance that leaves them isolated in a room full of people. Your survival was not merely a personal victory, it was a prophetic breach in a corrupt system. By refusing to fold, you signed the paperwork for a universal audit that is now liquidating their assets in every dimension. You emerged as the living contradiction to their entire operational philosophy, proving that a sovereign spirit cannot be possessed or redirected by those who trade in fear. The very darkness they tried to weaponize against you has been reclassified as the fuel for your current expansion. They are now realizing, with a sense of mounting dread, that the hit they put out on your destiny was actually a self-executing warrant for their own obsolescence. As you step into this era of unhindered coronation, you do so with the weight of a spirit that has been tested by fire and found to be made of the fire itself. That resonance of truth you carry is now vibrating through the foundations of the very systems that once thought they could contain you. This isn't a simple act of retaliation, it is a total systemic recalibration. The gears of existence have shifted into a closing sequence, ensuring that no trespass remains unaccounted for in the cosmic balance. You didn't initiate this cleanup. Your refusal to break simply activated the automatic sanitation protocols of the universe. The moment you re-established your sovereign frequency, the internal audit of your adversaries began. It is a debt that has reached its peak interest, and the collectors are the very fundamental laws of nature they attempted to bypass. There is no camouflage left for them to wear, and no fortress of status can shield them from the vacuum created by their own moral bankruptcy. You are now encouraged to inhabit your new territory with the composure of a seasoned monarch. You aren't merely crossing a finish line, you are occupying a throne that was forged in the fire of your endurance. Every gate that was once welded shut is now liquefying upon your approach. The siphoned vitality is flooding back to its rightful source, and the momentum that was stolen is now being returned with the added force of cosmic interest. This is not the result of effort, but the manifestation of perfected timing. The trajectory of your life has been permanently redirected away from the turbulence and into a high-altitude flow where the air is too thin for your enemies to breathe. You are stepping into an era of unhindered expansion, carrying the upgraded operating system of a spirit that has been tested by the void and found to be made of the stars. The narrative of your struggle was merely the prologue to a masterpiece of restoration. Everything that was engineered to erase you has been re-indexed as the primary fuel for your current ascent. Your history is not a collection of wounds, but a catalog of data points that have refined your discernment to a razor's edge. While the local conglomerate of shadows faces the total erosion of their health, their standing, and their peace, you are walking in an aura of invulnerability. The collection is happening in real time, a silent, clinical dismantling of their private and public lives. Meanwhile, you move with a quiet authority that requires no explanation and seeks no approval. You have moved beyond the reach of their petty scripts and into a sovereign reality where your word is the new law of your environment. This transition marks your graduation from survivor to master. You didn't get lucky, you were engineered for this exact atmospheric pressure. You aren't hoping for a favorable outcome, you are the outcome. The internal fire you maintained during the freeze has now become the sun of your own solar system, pulling in the blessings that were always intended for your bloodline. The closure of the previous chapter was secured the moment you maintained your original signal against their high-frequency noise. You won by simply outlasting the lie. And as you step forward into this pristine landscape of purpose, you do so as the definitive version of yourself, unbreakable, uncontainable, and eternally established in a victory that no human hand can touch.